So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to prepare mofongo with carne de cerdo or mofongo, Puerto Rican mofongo with pork. And this is the type of mofongo that people might add chicharrones. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to replace the chicharron with something else because I'm going to make this mofongo considerably more delicious and more natural. So even my spices and ingredients are going to be natural, as well as the replacement for the chicharron. So go nowhere. Let's have some fun. Share these videos. Let's create. So what I wanted to find at the supermarket or whatever, it could be the butcher, were the pork cubes. I wanted in cubes, but I couldn't find them. So I bought a very small pork shoulder at the supermarket. This is very little. See, my hand cover. I slice it down and then I cut it into squares. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to have the following ingredients handy because I'm going to marinate this baby, I'm telling you. So I have paprika, smoked paprika, turmeric. I'm going to use this a tiny bit. I'm going to show you how much. I have some minced garlic. I have some thyme. I have some extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to have some vinegar, some black pepper, and some salt. And the salt has to be fine. Not that rock salt, but the fine salt. Whether it's Himalayan sea salt, but it has to be fine. In addition to that, I'm going to have some fresh oregano. And here's your fresh oregano. But one thing I wanted to mention is, you're going to marinate this now. The important thing, once this is marinated, whether you do it overnight or before you cook this today, if you're going to do the same day, make sure that before you cook this meat, that it was out of the refrigerator for at least 20-30 minutes. You want it at room temperature so the heat can transfer easier. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little bit of oil, just a tiny bit, see, couple drops, few drops, and you add a tiny bit of vinegar. It could be the white vinegar. Not, you don't need to add a lot. It could be a cap. A cap like this, that much. Then you're going to add some salt, and I'm working here with one hand. Do you taste? You're going to add some black pepper. It looks light up, but it's not, because you have these holes preventing for a lot to be there. Add some of your garlic. Add some of your paprika. That is about a quarter teaspoon, by the way. Add about 1/8, which means half a quarter of the teaspoon. This is a quarter teaspoon. Add half of that on the turmeric. Some of your fresh oregano. Some of your thyme. And you mix this baby good. So how the flavor mix nicely. You can put it in the refrigerator overnight, or you can wait a few minutes for them to simmer in before you cook it. That's simple. So I got this about 2 or 3 notches above medium, so it's kind of medium high. It's actually medium high. Here's this beautiful pork. I'm going to start cooking these babies. I didn't go fully high because I don't want them to cook too fast on the outside and then remain raw on the inside. I didn't want that. What I do want is to cook this nicely. You can use any type of oil, and this one, the oil I'm using here is vegetable oil. Not the most recommended one, but I want to maximize because I use this oil for some plantains because I'm going to be, doing my mofongo. So I'm going to let this baby cook. See how nice and pretty they look. Took about 6 minutes. Let me turn it off. Going to transfer to a plate. This plate have a paper towel so the fat can, you know, drain a little bit. That's how simple. Some people like to add chicharron to their mofongo. I don't like that stuff with preservatives and things like that. So I think one of the things you can do, you can get a piece of bacon, you fry it until it's crispy, and that's more natural. Even the skin, if it's crispy, of the pernil, if you cook pernil, that will be perfect too. So you fry this, make it a little bit crispy, so you can have these chunks. So the first thing that you have to do, you have to make sure you have green plantains. And then you cut them in small cylinders, relatively small, it's about an inch. Enough that it can be covered when you're frying them. And you do the same with the other ones. This is a pan, but it's a little bit deep. You put enough oil. I'm using pure vegetable. You can use vegetable oil, whatever type of oil you want. And right now I have it high just to get it hot, but I'm going to reduce it to medium. And then the round plantains, you add them. And the reason you put it on medium is because you want the inside to cook. If you have it at high temperature, you're going to burn it and the inside won't cook. So you want the inside to cook. And you're trying to get them submerged. If you can, then you have to move them around a little bit. You just get your thing and you start moving them around. But let them cook first for a little bit at medium. Maybe a notch above medium, if that. And you start doing your thing, you start frying them. See how pretty it looks? It's starting to change color. What you want is, once it becomes this kind of color, it took about 5 minutes medium heat because you want the inside cooked once again. These green plantains, which by the way, they were not the best plantains in the market. It was so hard to find good plantains and I couldn't find any. I mean, I had to go support, but when you know how to cook, you're trying to create some magic. So, yeah, get ready, see the color, kind of yellowish color. What you do now, you turn this off and you start moving them to a container with a paper because you want to smash these babies. So you want to have handy some extra virgin olive oil, salt, pepper, butter, I prefer unsalted, and some garlic. First thing I like to do, I want to create a base. Soften things up a little bit, grab a brush, I want to float it around a little bit. You don't put a lot of oil. I put a little bit too much, by the way, but you don't need a lot. Maybe a teaspoon or two, if that. Then what you do is you grab some of that garlic and you start smashing that baby. Now you add some of the plantains and you start smashing those babies. You start shaping the thing. You can add a little bit of pepper. You can add it out, you can add it later. A little bit of salt. Butter. You start smashing and softening these babies up. And more. Just shaping this baby. And this is the bacon. The good thing about bacon is that once it's crispy, you can break it into tiny pieces. With cheese around, you put it there and you smash it, to mix everything up. This one already cut it into little pieces, and all I'm going to do is mix it up. So I add it, and then I start mixing things up with butter. And you do that when they're warm. And you start pushing the stuff. You see some of the bacon there too. I can see some of the garlic. As you're shaping this, the butter is already melted. Things are looking pretty. Yeah, I can see some of that little garlic and some of that bacon. So it's going to be tasteful. You continue shaping it until it's ready. I'm working with one hand, so I'm going to put the camera down to get this thing working. And now what you do, you transfer your pork to your mofongo. And something I like to do, I take some of the little bit of the grease from where I've cooked the pork and I add it to. I don't care. See how beautiful?